Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're reviewing WrestleMania Backlash 2022. If you haven't seen my shows here before, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Let's jump right into it. The first match of the show is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins in what is going to be a theme for the night. A rematch from WrestleMania. I actually enjoyed this match better than the WrestleMania match. Yes, the spectacle of WrestleMania and the Cody quasi-surprise made a big impact on that, but I thought this was a better in-ring match. Not to say that was a bad match. I thoroughly enjoyed that match as well. There's something about this matchup that I really enjoy. I believe it's either Money in the Bank or Hell in a Cell is up next. I'd like to see them make it to Hell in a Cell together. I'd love to see these guys in a Hell in a Cell match and see what they could do with each other, because I think their chemistry is just that good that if they had an opportunity to do something like that, they would pull out an all-time match out of them. We see at the end, Seth rolls up Cody, pulls on his trunks. Cody reverses, rolls up Seth, pulls his trunks. So now again, Seth Rollins will have a point of contention as to why he lost to Cody. He lost because Cody cheated. Cody picked up the win here. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm giving this a 5. I thought it was a great match. Next up, we have another rematch. Bobby Lashley versus Omos. I don't know why I call him Omos. I think it's because I'm thinking of Amos. But anyway. Omos. I like Omos, don't get me wrong. I think there's something there. He's going to be a star. And Lashley's great. Lashley's phenomenal. I think you see more of Omos's flaws in this match than we did in the match at WrestleMania. They weren't able to hide it as well. He moved a little bit slower here. There was a little bit more of a herky-jerkiness to what he was doing. Kind of like if he was like a nervous person was in there. If he got nervous during the match, I don't know if he did, but it feels like he did get nervous and he was just off a step. This match wasn't quite as good as their WrestleMania match. Still a good match. Omos picks up the win with the help of his manager MVP. I'm giving this match a solid 3. I thought it was good, not great. I liked their WrestleMania match better. But, again, I think there's something there with Omos. I think he's going to be better than Giant Gonzalez or even the Great Khali. I think he's going to be a good Giant going forward. Now, next up, we have AJ Styles versus Edge, with the stipulation being that Damian Priest is barred from ringside. However, during the match, we see him come down, and in the most I'm not touching you way, he stands in the aisle and says, I'm not in ringside, I'm in the aisle, I'm not in ringside. Yet, Finn Balor comes out, and then they both come to ringside. So technically, the match should have ended right there. I know they play fast and loose with the rules, but if you're going to make that a stipulation, make that stipulation stick. They could have got to this ending without doing that, is my point. The match itself was good. And a masked person comes out, helps Edge pick up the win here. We see afterwards the masked person unmasks and it's Rhea Ripley with now jet black hair. I like this idea. I like the fact that we're getting a faction that has both men and women in it. Obviously, it's going to set up a match with Priest, Edge, and Rhea versus AJ, Finn, and probably Liv Morgan. But I do enjoy the fact that they've added a female to what is quintessentially a Brood redo. And I think that she's going to be a strong addition. I like Rhea Ripley. I think she's a freaking star. I enjoyed this match. I'm giving this a 4. Now, next up, in an I Quit match, we have Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. This is my favorite Ronda Rousey match since she's been in WWE. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think the violence was dialed up a lot. It got a little excessive with the kendo stick shots. Some of it was very creative. The submissions through the guardrails, using the chairs, their use of weapons in this. I liked that Charlotte got a little bit too cocky at the end, which ended up with her getting into an armbar through the chair, which injured her, which rumor is she's going to go and marry Andrade. Good luck to both of you. Congratulations, by the way. And neither one of you are ever going to watch this, but anyway. My congratulations to both of them. I hope they have a very happy marriage. Like I said, Ronda picks up the win here. This is my favorite Ronda Rousey match since she's been in WWE. I'm giving this one a 5. This is my second favorite match of the night. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Now, coming from that, we get Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Okay. I like the progression of Moss. I like him moving away from Corbin. I want to see him get out of the gear that he's wearing, get rid of the suspenders, give a more serious look. I like the fact that they're going with this with Corbin. I forget who said it, but I seen, it might have been on Twitter, where they were talking about maybe this is what puts Corbin back to bum Corbin mode, which would be fitting because they're going to head to Las Vegas very soon, where he turned it around last year. Corbin's a guy that I think they keep handing lemons, and he makes a lot of lemonade out of them. This latest version of it, not so much. The Corbin Madcap Moss stuff I didn't really like. Usually, more often than not, he knocks it out of the park. I thought this was an okay match. It wasn't great. I think it didn't fit on this card because with only 6 matches on this card and only one title being defended, you could have put Theory against someone for the U.S. title here. You could have had the Intercontinental Championship defended here. You could have done something other than just these two. You could have had Becky on here, or anything, or Becky versus Bianca on here. Like I said, I think this would have been a perfectly fine match for SmackDown. Not so much for this pay-per-view, where the matches were, like I said, a low number of matches. Moss picks up the win here. I thought it was good, not great. I'm giving it a 3. And finally, the main event of the evening, Drew McIntyre, Riddle, and Randall Keith Orton versus Jimmy and Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. In what was initially supposed to be a tag team title unification match, which if you listen to Meltzer, he says that that was never part of the plan. I don't think that that's so true, because I don't think they would tease a unification match and then pull it back from the fans. I think there'd be a lot of backlash on that. And I'm not just talking about the title. That I didn't even mean that pun. I think there would be a lot of fan backlash if that was true. As it is, a lot of fans were disappointed when they switched this match. I thought the match was good. It was solid. Again, on a premium live event that only has 6 matches, we could have seen Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in a solo match. We could have seen one of the tag team championships be defended. However, we have both tag team titles and both, main championships, World Championship, the WWE Championship, and Universal Championship, all tied up in one match. So to me, and it kind of felt like this was harkening back to the In Your House days, and that's not a bad thing. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But again, I think they could have had a more important match here. This, again, much like I said with Corbin and Moss, I felt like this felt like a SmackDown match, not a match for a premier live event or pay-per-view, depending on what you call it. The Bloodline picks up the win. I'm giving the match a 4. I did enjoy the match. I thought it was a really good match. I just thought it was a little bit weird that this is a main event. And that was my big takeaway from this. I know that they've said that they want to do upwards of 8 stadium shows a year. So maybe we're going to get on these lesser pay-per-views like Backlash. We're going to start getting what we used to get with the In Your House shows, where they kind of threw anything at the wall and tried to make it stick, where you had some fun themes to the show, some good matches, but not necessarily wouldn't be like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. Although I do think now, the Big Four, I think Survivor Series has been surpassed in importance by Money in the Bank. So maybe you'd consider it a Big Five, but I guess it's still the Big Four. But anyway, I digress. I hope that this is a model, because this was under 3 hours, which felt really good to watch a pay-per-view less than 3 hours. It went by quick. It was fun. Most of the matches were good, if not great. The event was interesting. We did get to see a title change. We got to see a lot of character development. Omos and MVP's character developing. Cody and Seth's story developing. The Edge Judgment Day faction getting bigger, which it's funny that that's a old In Your House pay-per-view. Charlotte getting injured to take time off. I mean, I enjoyed this. If this is what they're going to give us on the months that they're not doing stadium shows, I'm all for this. I thought this, to me, was way more enjoyable than Monday Night Raw or SmackDown has been in quite a long time. I thought this was very enjoyable. Coming off a really enjoyable 2 nights of WrestleMania, I'm going to give the whole card a 4. I thought it was a really fun show. Like I said, in less than 3 hours, so it breezed by as compared to what they normally give us, as compared to what AEW does for their pay-per-view events. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy this as well? With that being said, please hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you made it all the way to the end, I like to do this on all my videos to gauge who makes it all the way through. Put In Your House down in the comments to let me know you made it all the way to the end. With that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of WrestleMania Backlash 2022.